Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I just thought I'd catch a couple of cattleyas because they don't come out to play much because they don't get anywhere near as much water through the winter. But nonetheless, this is one I've grown from a seedling, and this is its first blooming. Now, looking at the shape of those blooms, I think we're going to have some pretty frilly flowers when those come out, provided they don't blast or anything silly. You know what first time blooming's like. You often get slightly distorted blooms or not many or whatever. But given the size of them buds, I think those blooms are going to be pretty big. And this was a bit of a surprise because this is a rescue. This plant was in a hell of a state. You can see the desiccated pseudobulbs, the sort of shrivelling up leaves on the older pseudobulbs. But as you can see, the plant sort of got a grip. It's pushed out some new roots in various places and it has some new leads. But the surprise is that that sheath's pushing some buds. Yay! I am surprised because, I mean, I'd only just class that as recovering. That's not recovered. It's recovering. But you can see that latest pseudobulb's nice and plump. It's pushed its own roots out and yay, we got some buds. The other part of the plant down below is taking more time to get going, but you can see there's still signs of new bulbs coming. The new bulbs that it's pushed up are small, and the older bulbs are still desiccated. They're never going to plump up now. But this end of the top part of the plant is pushing on quite nicely now, so I'd class that as recovered. Okay, so a couple of cattleyas. Don't think I can get at the others. There are some others with buds forming in sheaths, but I can't get at them at the moment. It's not their watering day, but these two are, because they live up in the roof. Okay. Just having a quick look at this one while it's down out of the roof getting a drink. This sheath has been on there quite a long time, but if the light can catch it, if you look at the base of that sheath, I do believe there's a shadow in there. Pretty sure. Yeah. It's only tiny at the moment, but who knows? Maybe that one's going to push out some buds too. If it does, that'll be its first time blooming. It's got lovely new growth coming up there. If that one doesn't, then maybe that one will. But yeah, I just thought we'd have a quick look at that one. Brassavola David Sanders, that is. I'm not sure if it's a primary cross or a species cross with a primary cross, but it's pretty close to the species anyway. Not complicated. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's got a shadow in the bottom of it. Yay! That'll be a first timer. Okay, quick question. Anybody out there that's got Orchids fastuosa? Is that a new plant coming out the side there, or is that a spike? Just looks like a lump. It's a silly looking thing. It's getting fatter, but it doesn't seem to have any form or any shape. So anybody who's got one of these that's actually watched a flower spike develop, does that look like that's going to be a flower spike or a side growth? Go on, give us a clue. I don't know yet. As they say, time will tell. But, you know, I don't get many blooms on my Orchids, so if I've got some coming, I'll be over the moon. So give us a clue, somebody. It's a nice little plant, but and it hasn't bloomed yet, so if that is a spike, yay! We'll see how it goes. While we're playing the spike or new growth thing, what about this then? I did a video when we potted this up in this basket. Remember, I sort of lined it with the plastic stuff to stop all the bark falling out. It's putting out a hell of a good root system since it's been in there. But what are all these new things? Yeah, there's two up to the left-hand side of that growth, and one pushing out there. There's another pair there. So, what do you reckon then? New growths? They're coming out from the base of the pseudobulbs. I suppose it would help if you knew what it was, wouldn't it? It's Maxillaria arachnitiflora. Yeah, it's easy for you to say. Arachnitiflora. Yeah, So there's some sort of spidery thing going on in there with arachnid on the front. Anyway, what do you think? Anybody ever heard of this? Anybody got one? Anybody seen what the new growths look like, or what the spikes look like when they come out? Most maxillaria spikes come out from the base of the pseudobulbs, or in the base there somewhere. So they could be spikes, they could just be new growths pushing out. But it's taken to its mount quite nicely. I can't see any others lurking, just that set round here. So when we put this in the basket, that was a very good guess as to which way the growths were going to go, because I left that part of the basket free. So if they are new growths, yay, they've gone right into the place where I wanted them to. And if they're spikes, even better, because they've got room to come out without getting all tangled up in stuff. So another wait and see. Like they say, time will tell, but there's 4 shooting out at the base of that growth, 2 each side. And then that one's got 2 coming out there. So I wonder what they are then. Time will tell. And who said those buds were stalled? Oh, it was me, wasn't it? No. Well, anyway, they're not stalled. There's one opening. And that's what that is in Cyclia cordidera, but it's got a clone name. 3 spikes on that. 1, 2, 3, and the first bloom just poking a little frilly bit out. So another few days, that first spike should be open anyway. I'm going to film it again. Oh, and the sun's just come round as I'm watering, so Mr. Spidery, Brassiotessa, that's opening its second spike now. And the fragrance on that is now powerful, along with that one. What is that? Peter Comp. And the cinnamon, Tiny Twinkle cinnamon. So I've actually got competition. That's pushing out fragrance. That's pushing out fragrance. And its other spike over there. And that's pushing out fragrance. And they're all nicely mingling together at the moment. This is a sort of sweetish honey scent. That's very similar. And this one's spicy, cinnamony type. You mix all those together and it's quite nice out here at the moment. I just wish that had fragrance. I don't know whether the camera has a habit of not picking up things, but that is the first time I've noticed those blooms have got sparkles on them. Now, I hope the camera is catching that. Cameras have a habit, especially on auto, of adjusting and taking away the special little things that you want to film. I hope that's picking that up. I've never noticed that before. Sparkly bits on all of it actually. It's on the lip as well. Yay! I hadn't noticed that before. That is quite a stunning bloom, no doubt about it. Miltonia Sunset. I don't very often show my Phalaenopsis. These are not all mine, but we do have some. There's a spike down in there. There's another spike there. There's another one tucked in around the back. So although that's several plants growing together, there are several spikes as well. There's a spike down there by that red label. There's another one at the far end pushing up. There's one just there, just starting. And oh, that's Mr. Slow come indoors so that I can enjoy it for a bit. And this one's got a reasonable spike on it as well. Yeah, so some of my Phalaenopsis have got spikes on. Not all of them, but there's a few starting to push out. So I doubt if they'll be out for Christmas. This one may be, but no, probably not. But yeah, a few spikes, so there'll be some Phalaenopsis blooms in the not too distant future. Just have a quick look at the Vandas while I'm here. Just something that happens in the UK, and unless you've got artificial lights and reasonable heating, which I haven't got either of, this is what happens. Excellent root growth, loads of new roots this year, but notice the growing tips. They seal over. As the days get so short and there's not enough light, simply because of the day lengths, the roots just shut down. They don't close down and die, they just stop growing for about 3 months, and then come March, you know, when the day lengths get back up towards 11 hours again, they'll either branch out or shoot out again from the tips. That's just what they do for me in the UK in the conditions I've got. It will carry on growing in the winter. The top growth will still slowly progress, so it will still push out new leaves. That's probably that one's last spike for this year, but that's its that's its 5th spike this year, so that one's done reasonably well for me. Pleased with that one. And that one, the blooms have lasted so well, I'm over the moon with that. Now there are still some green tips on some of the Vandas, but I have noticed quite a few of the roots are starting to just close over at the ends. Some might not, because you know, that this one with that colossal bud that's now forming its buds, that's actually a new plant, so this is its first winter with me. Now this might be a bit more cold and light tolerant, and the roots might not stop growing. But even if they do, it's pushed a good root system out this year for me, and it will start again later if it does close down. Okay, so just a quick look at the Vandas while I'm getting some down and watering and doing this stuff. Okay, last one for today. This is Epidendrum polybulbon, which I now think has been moved to the genus Dinema, I think it is. But just looking at its growth pattern, it's a rambler, creeps away, chucks out roots like they're going out of fashion. You see some new growth at the top pushing on. But looking at its growth pattern, each bulb has 2 leaves. And that's it. That's what it does. And then it moves forward and it chucks out another growth and it has 2 leaves, and so on and so on. New growths at the end of the leads. So when you see something sticking out between the 2 leaves that wasn't there before, yeah, methinks that's got flower spikes coming, because what else can they be? The bulbs only ever have 2 leaves, so if anything else pushes out, well, there's one there as well. Let me just have a quick count. There's that one is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 4 of the bulbs have got something between the leaves, and I would suggest they may be flower spikes. Now, given that I haven't had this long, and it's only relatively recently been mounted, but with that amount of aerial roots, the fact that it's been moved and mounted isn't going to upset it. Some of those roots are already burrowing into the moss and finding their way back to the bark. Some are still aerial. Some of the ends have died back a little bit, but yeah, those spikes may blast. It's only recently been set up in its environment. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's a nice plant. It looks nice on the mount. Nice compact miniature. Unfortunately, it has a I'm getting out of here nature. In other words, it will climb, it will creep, and it will try and leave that mount eventually. You know, it's going to reach the top, it'll start going out sideways. Who knows, it might even go around the back. But it's an added interest. It's a little bit more interesting than perhaps just a pot full of pseudo bulbs with 2 or 3 leaves sticking out the top of each one. I like something a bit different, and you know, a nice little miniature, but it has a rambling habit, and it is going to try and leave that mount as fast as possible. As I say, it's already put up quite a few new growths since it was mounted. Okay, so that's it for today. It was just really, while I was watering, just having a look round and seeing if I could see any buds that are progressing or spikes that weren't there last time things got watered. Okay, so I'll see you again next time. Thanks for dropping by.